Hi, my name is Sarvesh and you're watching D365 Notes. Today I will be covering about the invoice journal. In last video we have covered about the creation of journal name and configuration of journal name. So in this video I will be covering about more about journal creation where you will put the actual transaction. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let me give you an example. When if you are paying office expenses or rent kind of thing, then you don't have to post the purchase order. You can post it. There are different provision in the system, but for that you don't have to follow that hectic process. Instead of that, you can directly hit the ledger of rent or any expense. For that, Microsoft Dynamics 365, Microsoft has provided this invoice journal inbuilt feature where you can define the invoice and ledger along with vendor. Okay, so we can see in the system now. So for creating journal, you have to go to accounts payable, invoices, and invoice journal. Okay, here click on new button and click on names, click on drop down and select your journal. So in my case it is AP invoice. Click on lines. So the example is I am paying office expenses to I am booking office expenses, and along with that I will book the transaction invoice. So for that, what we have to do in the system, we will cover in this video. So this is, so let me take this 1001 vendor. So after selecting vendor, the key difference you will notice here is between journal and invoice journal is that you will find invoice date and invoice. Okay, on the top of the line. Okay, so what is the use of invoice date and invoice number? So for example, to identify, you will be having multiple vendor posting for this vendor. So to identify this specific transaction, you can mention the invoice number. And another scenario is when your actual posting date is today's date, but invoice generation means whenever the vendor send you the invoice is on a different date. So you can mention, and you can calculate this invoice date can be used for vendor aging and calculation of different balances. So we will cover about the vendor aging and that kind of thing in later part of this series. So let's focus on this now. My date of posting is today's date and invoice date is 1st June. Okay, invoice number is 001 and I will post, I will put amount in credit, and here offset account you will see here the office expense ledger, office supply expense ledger. It is already mentioned by default on vendor. You can change it anytime, but I will not change because it is my default scenario for this video. Now click on save, validate and stimulate the posting. Okay, it is validated and there is no error. You can post it. Okay, let me copy this invoice number. Okay, and let's go to the vendor and see how this transaction is posted. Go to all vendors and my vendor is 1001. This is the vendor. If you see the vendor transaction from the top action pane, okay, so you will see multiple transactions are already posted, but you will not know what is my actual transaction I am looking for if in case of need any correction. So I will paste my invoice number and identify the transaction. You can do using voucher also, but it is more convenient if you have a paper invoice in front of you or PDF invoice in your system, in your Outlook or mail folder. So you can just identify this and you can track this. Similarly, you can do the settlement, and that is the another part of this vendor payment and vendor transaction. We will cover about this, about settlement and all, in accounts payable series. Now we are just covering about the basic journal ledger things. Okay, so that is how you can create a vendor invoice journal. I will be covering more scenarios about this regarding cash discount and all. So that's it for today. I will see you in the next video.